I'll shoot him in the head. Like, yeah.
They should straight away.
They should be putting bigger. They should be putting like bigger areas, innit? I think they should just let them out and do whatever they want, innit? Yeah, let them be free, bro.
They're just slicing their throats, kills them instantly.
I'll shoot him in the head. There's some events that have like happened similar to that, and they're not so good.
So what's your names?
My name's Joe, innit?
John, Mark, yours?
Jamie.
Jamie, good to meet you. Okay. So the very first one is about chickens and turkeys. Chickens and turkeys, due to large groups of them being held in confined spaces, just where they're bred, they quite often have their beaks trimmed. And this is to prevent them from harming one another. Yeah, otherwise they just peck each other and go mad. Yeah? Now that process of doing that can actually cause significant pain and suffering. And so what the RSPCA say they want to phase that process out. They do permit it if it's performed by a trained professional. Do you think, the question is, do you think that process can ever be justified?
No.
No? Why not?
Because they shouldn't have their beaks cut off.
But if they don't do that, they're going to be harming one another.
They should be putting bigger. They should be putting like bigger areas, isn't it?
Yep. Second one. There's 5 in total, by the way. Second one is chicks, baby chicks.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, because they can't lay eggs, male baby chicks are separated from the females. This first bit is non-RSPCA. Then I'll tell you the RSPCA bit. So they're typically put onto a conveyor belt. And this conveyor belt will drop them into a massive macerator, which is basically like a big blender, and they just get ground up alive.
Yeah.
The RSPCA, they prefer chicks to be gassed using argon. Now this process takes no longer than 6 minutes for those chicks to be suffocated to death. Often, usually less. Do you think that's a better method or not?
Why are they killing the chicken?
Because they don't lay eggs.
So
you've got males and females.
So they just get rid of them.
Yeah,
And not use.
the females lay eggs, the male ones don't, so they're useless. And it's a different breed to the ones that they're called broiler chickens, the ones that we eat.
I think they should just let them out and do whatever they want, innit? Let the ducks be free, bro.
We're talking millions upon millions every single year.
Yeah, let them be free, bro.
Hmm?
Let them be free, innit?
Release them?
Free them. Free the baby chicks.
Free the chicks. Okay. Third one, fish. Now, there are multiple non-RSPCA methods of killing fish. So this includes just pulling them out. This is industrial scale, by the way. So this just includes just pulling them out, letting them suffocate in the air, either putting them in into ice where they basically freeze to death, or slicing their throats. Those are the most common ways. Now, the RSPCA, is scientific consensus that fish can suffer and feel pain now. And the RSPCA are saying, rather than doing those methods, they would rather you use percussive stunning, which is basically where they get a blunt instrument, smash it over the fish's skull, so the brain collides and kills them that way. It doesn't always work the first time round, but that's the preferred method. The question then, of those methods of killing fish, which one do you think sounds like the best one? Slicing their throat, yeah? But when you're on a level where there's millions upon millions, it's very difficult to do. But anyway, why do you think that method?
Oh, it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah?
Get the job done.
Because you said that the first time don't normally work. And just slicing their throats kills them instantly.
There's no necessarily correct or incorrect question, it's just your opinion. The fourth one, male dairy calves. Because they are useless to the industry because they don't produce milk, and it's again a different breed to the ones that we would typically eat. There's non-RSPCA, the first bit. The 2 most humane methods of disposing of unwanted calves is to either smack them over the head with a blunt instrument, usually a spade, or bolt gun them in the head, normally on their first day of life. Now the RSPCA, they've turned around and they say, actually, do you know what? We would prefer it if you did what we call electrical stunning, which is where you get a here and here and basically just get zapped. That process, it reduces the ineffectiveness down from 14% down to 10%. What that means is out of the 9,500 baby calves that are killed
There'll be more
every month.
there'll be more that we can use instead of not using.
It's roughly 950 aren't killed outright. Do you think that is a better method or an acceptable method?
It makes more sense what the RSPCA is saying. With the numbers in that, it makes more sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you think, would you say electrical stunning is a nicer method to be killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. But it's peak, the animals don't get a say in it, you know what I mean? But it's what it is. And yeah, the RSPCA, that's their job to try and find a better way in it. So it's what it is.
Final one is about pigs. Now, before I tell you the statement, do you know, and if you don't know, have a guess, how do you think they slaughter pigs in the UK?
Shoot
In the majority of cases. Shoot them, bolt gun, that sort of thing? Electrocute them, yeah. Any guesses? What do you reckon?
I'll shoot them in the head and slit their throat.
Slit their throat? Yeah, you come and join in if you want.
I suppose some of them stuff like apples in their throat and that.
Okay.
Just, like, roast them.
The RSPCA method of killing pigs in the UK is accounts for 88% of all pigs. Is to send them into a CO2 gas chamber. Different to argon.
Yeah.
Normally 4 or 5 at a time. It's like a big Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. So CO2 is an aversive gas. It forms an acid on their eyes, in their lungs, in their throat. Essentially burns you from the inside out. You know when you have a can of pop and it goes up your nose and it burns? Carbon dioxide.
Yeah, oi. CO2 is fucking NOS, innit? Yeah. No, carbon dioxide. Yeah, it's NOS, innit?
Yeah. So basically, it burns them from the inside out. It takes no longer than 3 minutes for them to be killed that way. Occasionally, it's as little as 30 seconds. And this is, I've seen this.
Was that for each pig or like all the pigs?
Each pig.
So like 30, 60, 90.
Well, no, so they have a big Ferris wheel, and then so they get fed in like 3 or 4 at a time into this tiny crate,
and it takes 30 seconds
and they get dropped down into this gas.
Oh yeah.
And so and they're screaming.
Pass through and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think to that process?
It's quite peak because obviously there's some events that have like happened similar to that and they're not so good.
No.
Like,
Measure straight away.
It's cost effective and speed. I mean, CO2 is really, really cheap. It's the cheapest way of them being killed that way. So all these ones I've just mentioned